Hello everyone. So today we are going to see how training, testing and validation can be done in our machine learning. So training, testing and validation are the most important step to make your machine learn. So training is going to be used to train your machine using some algorithms. Then we can keep aside some testing data for the testing purpose so that we can check the performance of the system, and there is validation as well. So as we all can see in the diagram, the data can be split into training and testing, or it can be split into training, validation and testing. So the training set to actually train the algorithm that can be used. So model learn using this training data set. It can have the task, it can collect the information, and then the validation set to keep the track of how well it is doing as it learns. So now if you can see the volume voice, the training data set is having the larger volume. So if we are going to train the machine, so in between we need to keep validating whether the machine is getting that training properly or not. So to get that validation done, we are going to keep the validation data that is shown in the pink color over here in the diagram, that whether the training is getting properly done or not, which model is best, that can be decided using the validation, and the test set to produce the final result that we are going to use the testing data. So this testing data is going to help us to check the performance of the system. It will decide how good is this model truly. Like it will give the different results, and depending on the different performance measures, then we can check what is the performance of the system. So now the question is, why use both validation and testing? Is it really necessary, or can we go with only testing as well? So now validation actually it helps to improve the model's performance before testing. Before test, because testing is the last stage. So while training your model, we need to keep on validating in between that whether the training is getting properly happened or not. And if not, then maybe at the end only we can check the training has not been properly given. So while testing, then it is going to give us the inaccurate results. So that's why validation help us to improve the model's performance before testing itself. So testing provides a realistic assessment of a model's performance. So to make it good in the performance wise, the good results can be achieved if the validation is there. So if we are going to check some data training needs, like the what could be the percentage of the training and testing data. So here are some common examples given, that if we are going to keep aside 80% of the data for training, then we will be using 10% for the validation and 10% for testing purpose. If we are going to use the 70% data for the training purpose, then we can divide 15% each for the validation and testing data. And if we will be using the 60% of the data for the training purpose, then 20 each can be kept aside for validation and testing the data. So validation is very important to improve the model's performance, but without validation also we can divide our data in training and testing two phases. The next is we are going to see what is the cross validation technique now. So we have seen that validation is what, that is to make ensure the training has been properly given to the machine or not. So here the cross validation is a technique used to test the model's ability to predict the unseen data, that is data not used to train the model. So this cross validation is useful if we have the limited data when our test is not large enough. So if we are having the limited data, not very large data set, then at that time this validation technique is going to be very useful and helpful. So there are many different ways to perform cross validation. So in general, this cross validation technique is going to split the training data set into k blocks. So here k could be any integer number. So in each iteration, then the model trains on k minus 1 blocks, and it is validated using the last block. So we can use the multiple iterations of CV to reduce the variability, and we use the average error overall the iterations to evaluate the model. So this we can see using the example that is given in the figure. So now over here we are going to consider the k-fold validation where k's value is 5. So means what, we will be having the 5 folds of the data, and there we will be performing the same k number of iterations over here. So here our value of the k is 5, so 5 iterations will be performed. So look at the figure now. So this data set is divided into training and testing. So now in the first fold, as this is the 5 fold, so we have divided it into 5 different parts. So now in the first iteration, the first 4 parts are kept aside for the training purpose, and last is the test set. And now for this iteration we will be noticing what is the error, if any. So what the error is, if 4 parts are kept, first 4 parts are kept for the training and the last one is for the testing purpose. Now in iteration 2, what we are going to do, we will be changing the training data set. So first 3 partitions are kept for the training, and then with along with that the fifth one now is going to be used for the training purpose, and the fourth one is going to be for the testing purpose. So now if we change this data for the training and testing, then what error is generating, that we are going to what note down in the iteration 2. In iteration 3 again we are going to change our training data set. First 2 and last 2 are the training, the middle one is for the testing. So this iteration will generate error 3 if any. Iteration 4, the second part we are going to keep it for the testing, and the rest 4 will be used for the training purpose, and it will generate error 4 if any. And in the last one, the exactly opposite like the iteration 1, the first is for testing and the last 4 parts are for training purpose, and it will generate error 5 if any. So what we are going to do at the end then, so at the end we will be what taking the summation of all these error and we will take the average of that. So that is going to be our then error, what error is generated using this k-fold validation technique. So now these are the steps, and these steps are mentioned over here. So for performing that cross validation using k-fold, the first step, we are going to split the training data set into k equal parts. Now over here in our example, our k's value was 5, so we have split, we have cut our data set into 5 equal parts. Then we are going to fit the model on k minus 1 parts. So here k minus 1 means 5 minus 1 is the 4 parts. So 4 parts are going to be used for the training purpose, and we will be calculating the test error using the fitted model. Repeat it k times. So here our k value was 5, so that's why 5 iterations we have repeated this, and using each data subset then we will be using what we have at the end calculated what was the average error. So this is the cross validation technique where we are going to use the k-fold technique. So k's value could be any integer number then. So now the next thing to check the performance of the system, that is we are going to use two terms many a times, that is variance and bias. So now when a model does not perform as well as it does with the trained data set, there is the possibility that the model has variance. But now what exactly the variance is? So this variance it basically tells us how scattered the predicted values are from the actual values. Okay. So now before the model get trained, we know some actual values, and then after training your model, when we are testing the results, so at that time we will be checking what were the predicted values and are they matching with your actual values. So now this variance actually tell us how scattered the predicted values from the actual values. So the variability of the model prediction for given data point, which tell us the spread of our data, is actually called the variance of the model. So now the model with high variance has the very complex fit to the training data, and thus this is not able to fit accurately on the data which it hasn't seen before. Hence what, no, variance is actually how scattered your data is, how the data is spread. Means what, if your predicted values and actual values does not match, means we have the high variance. And now if we have the high variance, means what, our model is very complex. That's why even after training our predicted and actual values are not matching perfectly. So as a result, such model perform very well on the training data but have high errors on the test data. So while giving training, no, these are showing us like good result, the training is properly happened, but when actually we will be performing the test, so at that time we will be matching the actual and predicted values. So at that time such kind of models start giving us errors on the test data. So when a model is high on variance, it is then said to overfit the data. Means what, the data is complex, and that's why while learning it is getting all the data, but while testing it, it starts showing error. Means now this situation is called as overfitting of the data. So data has been overfitted in the model. So this is the variance which actually tell us how scattered our predicted and actual values are. Means they are not equal. Now, the next term or the terminology we use, that is the bias. So now bias is known as the difference between prediction of the values of the machine learning model and the correct values. So now this is the difference between predicted and the correct values, and the variance was the spread between what the actual and the predicted values. So being high in bias gives a large error in training as well as testing. So if you remember, in variance we have seen while training everything was good, but when we use the testing, so at that time in variance case it starts showing error. But now being high in the bias, it gives a large error in testing as well as training. So both are showing the error if your bias is high. So it recommended that an algorithm should always be low bias to avoid the problem of underfitting. So in bias, we find the problem of underfitting where the training and testing both are showing the error. Means training is also not getting properly done. So that's why it is showing errors in testing as well. So by high bias, the data predicted is in the straight line format, thus not fitting accurately in the data set. So such fitting is known as underfitting. Means whatever the required data was needed to train the machine, that is not available or that was not used to train the machine. So that's why the bias is present over there. So bias is always cause underfitting, and the variance cause the overfitting. High variance cause the overfitting. So now if we want to compare the variance and bias together, what are the high and low values of them and how they are related to each other, then we can check that bias can be measured. The bias is the error in the training data and variance is error in the test data. So if you will look at the low bias and low variance, means all the data is centrally like you can see accumulated over there. If we will be having the low bias, means what, there is low error in the training data, but the high error in while testing the data, means high variance. So if you can see, the values are scattered. Okay, now these are going little bit outside the inner circle. So now if we have the high bias, means error in training data while giving the error itself, but the low variance means, but in the testing it will be now actually out of the inner circle. So this is the high bias, low variance. And now the next concept is high variance, high bias. Both are high, means there are error in training and testing as well. So you can see the how scattered those values are from your the inner circle, that is means from the actual value. So what this is showing us, what is the relation between your actual values and the predicted value. So that is all depend on the bias and variance, how high or low these bias and variance are. So according to that, the values can be calculated. So the next term is bias variance trade-off. So this bias variance trade-off we can use while building the machine learning model, and it is really important to take care of bias and variance in order to avoid overfitting and underfitting in the model. So if the model is very simple with the fewer parameters, it may have the low variance and high bias. So high bias means both training and testing cannot be performed well. Whereas if the model has the large number of parameters, the complex data, it will have the high variance and low bias. So high variance means while training everything was going good, but while testing it is not matching with the actual values. So it is required to make the balance between both bias and variance error, and this balance between the bias and variance error and the variance error is known as the bias variance trade-off. So how actually that bias variance trade-off will look like? So if you look at this diagram, so here on the x-axis we are showing the complexity of the model, and on the y-axis we will be getting the error. So if you look at the central point, that is what the optimal model complexity. So the green line is showing us the variance and the blue line is showing us the bias. So now if we decrease the variance, the green line, if we decrease the variance, you can just look at the graph. Uh, uh, the bias is getting increased, and if we decrease the bias, the variance is getting increased. So there is some central point where both lines are meeting. So actually this is called as the sweet spot, where that is called as the balance between bias and variance, means both these values are neither high or low, but these are the average value where both lines are meeting. So we are looking for such values in bias variance trade-off where both are neither high or low. So that is actually good for the model's training and testing purpose. So this is all about our how we can train the model, test it, how the validity can be checked. Then we have seen what is the k-fold cross validation techniques, what is bias variance, and what is the bias variance trade-off. Thank you.